It is an honor to stand before you today as we launch the 2025 Queen's Ball under the theme, Healing Minds. The event is being brought to you by the Nnaabagereka Women's Fund. This is an endowment fund that was started by Her Royal Highness purposely to facilitate social investments in women, youth, and children. The fund has a number of programs in education and health. For the last 2 years, we have been championing mental health, but it is not the only cause we champion. We decided to take up this cause because we were alarmed by the statistics. 1 out of 4 Ugandans is suffering some form of mental health. So the Queen's Ball is not just an event. It is a call to action to change the way we perceive and address this silent killer in our society, which has many faces. It is the mother battling with postpartum depression, the young person struggling with anxiety, the employee overwhelmed by workplace stress, and the student burdened by academic pressures. It is a silent challenge that touches our families, our workplaces, and our communities. A population cannot be productive if they are affected by mental health. Yet for too long, it has remained shrouded in stigma and misunderstanding. At NNWF, we believe that mental health is just as important as physical health. Our mission is to ensure that no one in Uganda suffers in silence. Through this campaign, we plan to build on the efforts of last year to try and expand access to mental health services by partnering with health institutions in this space, continuing to raise awareness and educate the public about the available mental health resources, and most importantly, to break the stigma that prevents people from seeking help. The Queen's Ball is scheduled for Friday, May 2nd at Speak Resort Munyonyo, Sunset Terrace Center, and it is going to be a glamorous event, but most importantly, a platform for change where leaders, policymakers, businesses, government, and the public unite in support of mental well-being. It is also an opportunity to raise funds that will go to the fund and enable us to address some of the challenges. So this is going to be a ticketed event, and you can get more details from all our platforms, our website, our social media pages. To the media, your role is crucial. You have the power to amplify this message, making mental health a household conversation and inspiring action through storytelling. We need you to be our voice to reach those who are struggling so that they may know that there is help out there. To our partners, your generosity is the foundation of this change. Your contributions go beyond financial support. They are investments in the well-being and the future of Uganda. For this, we extend our deepest gratitude. Together we can create a Uganda where mental health is prioritized, where support is readily available, and where those seeking help can find it.
Now today we are proud to launch the second annual Queen's Ball and mental health campaign titled Healing Minds. This campaign encourages all of us to commit to supporting individuals facing mental health challenges. At the heart of the Nnaabagereka Agenda Women's Fund lies our vision of creating sustainable social investments that will uplift and empower women, youth, children across Uganda. While mental health is indeed a central focus of our efforts, it is essential to clarify that our endowment fund is multifaceted in its scope. We are committed to supporting various causes that contribute to the holistic development of individuals and communities in Uganda. Last year, the fund hosted its first Queen's Ball and launched its inaugural mental health campaign. Now, through this initiative, we reached thousands of people across various media platforms, including radio, television, and X and web spaces, space discussions. We ignited conversations that had long been silenced. We amplified lived experiences, and most importantly, reassured many that they are not alone. That's mainly what we've been doing in the past year since this campaign was launched by the fund. And I commend each of you who participated, those who shared stories and helped shed a light on a challenge that affects not only individuals, but the entire society. Mental health and wellness are not solitary journeys. They need community, understanding, and a commitment to stand united. Healing occurs when we support one another during the darkest times, when we listen, share laughter, extend kindness, and refuse to let anyone suffer in silence or alone. As the Nnaabagereka, I draw strength from the people who surround and support me, from those who assist me in my daily tasks to those who consistently stand by the causes I champion. You all exemplify the power of community. None of us can accomplish this work alone, and I want to express my gratitude to each and every one of you for your support. I also encourage you to reflect. Who are you reaching out to within your own circles? Are you offering support to your loved ones, your colleagues, and neighbors during their challenging times? Now, mental health is not just an issue for a select few, as we've already heard from previous speakers. It affects all of us, directly and many times indirectly. So let's make a deliberate effort to be there for one another. Depression, anxiety, trauma, and other mental health conditions do not discriminate. They affect people of all ages, backgrounds, and genders. Unfortunately, many individuals suffer in silence due to fear and stigma. Additionally, there is also a failure to recognize that mental health requires specialized facilities to address the diverse needs within this area. Mental health care could be accessible, or should be. It should be accessible to everyone. Just as we build hospitals for physical health, we must also create safe spaces for mental health, mental well-being. It's crucial to normalize conversations about mental health and take meaningful action to ensure that care is readily available to everyone, to whoever needs it. Now, under this year's theme, Healing Minds, we are committed to expanding mental health services, because help must be available where it is needed most. And number 2, committed to educating communities, because knowledge replaces fear with understanding. Mental health is a shared responsibility, and together we can build a culture of understanding and support. We should and must embrace Ubuntu Bulamu, the spirit of compassion, empathy, kindness, and community. A kind word, a listening ear, a gesture of support can make a world of difference. So we must stand together and take action. Investing in mental well-being means prioritizing education, access to care, and community support. It means advocating for policies that ensure help is available to those who need it most. No one should struggle alone by fostering a society that values mental well-being. By fostering a society that values mental well-being, we create a future where seeking help is met with encouragement and not stigma. On May 2nd, 2025, at Speak Resort Center Nyonyo, as you've already heard, we will gather for the Queen's Ball, an evening of elegance, but more importantly, an evening of purpose. Through the generosity of our partners and supporters, our endowment fund will raise funds to support mental health systems in Uganda. However, the true measure of our success will not be at the ball. It will be in the lives transformed because of it. I thank you once again, Dr. Naku, for your dedication to making mental health services accessible to many Ugandans through your work as Executive Director of Nnaabagereka National Referral Hospital. We thank you for the work that you do, and we also know that Nnaabagereka Hospital alone is not enough. We need so many other similar institutions in Uganda. Not that we're encouraging mental health, but because it's already there and the support is needed. Mental health issues already exist. I was happy to hear that you do have that line, that 24-hour help line that people can call, but you didn't give us a number. Maybe you will, so that people can actually reach out. Sometimes people don't really feel like talking to anybody, so if they can call anonymously, then that's also, can also be very helpful. The Nnaabagereka Women's Fund will work with institutions like Nnaabagereka and mental health professionals and those receiving care, and giving care. We will continue to advocate for the resources and support needed to sustain and expand mental health services. Today, I urge each of you to choose action, choose compassion, choose change, and help steer us towards a more supportive mental health environment in Uganda. I thank you so much for listening. Tubebaza mwenna okusobola okujja nga tutongoza ekijjulo kya Nnaabagereka 2025 kyetuyise Queen's Ball 2025. Ekijjulo kino nga bwe muwulidde kiteekateekebwa ekibiina kya Nnaabagereka Women's Fund, ensawo ekwata oba eyamba abaana, abakyala, abaami, abavubuka mu nsonga ez'enjawulo ez'okusoma, ez'obulamu, ez'ebyenfuna, ez'okwekulaakulanya. Naye ng'omwaka guno essira tulitadde ku ebyobulamu by'obwongo, mental health. Era n'omwaka ogwayita ensonga eyo essira kwe twagiteeka nga twagala kubanga nga bwe muwulidde obwongo kyekisinga obukulu ku mubiri gw'omuntu. oyinza okuba omulamu ng'ebitundu byo byonna eby'omubiri biramu naye obwongo bwe bubeera nga si bulamu awo bagamba nti omuntu afudde. Naye ate ng'obwongo buyinza okuba nga bukola ng'ebitundu ebirala byonna bifudde bagamba omuntu akyali mulamu. N'olwekyo kye tuba tutandikira ku bwongo kubanga twagala obwongo bwaffe ffenna bubeere nga bulamu, tusobole okukwataganya ensonga zonna endala bulungi, ensonga ezikwata ku baana, ensonga ezikwata ku maka gaffe, ensonga ezikwatagana ku bulamu, ku by'okusoma, ku byenfuna, ezo zonna okukulaakulana n'okugenda mu maaso zeesigamye ku nsonga za bwongo. Naye nga tetutegeddeko nti bangi nnyo ku ffe balina omutawaana mu nsonga eyo. Abamu kyeyoleka, oyinza okulaba omuntu n'ogamba nti bambi ono ateganyizibwa obwongo, naye ng'ate abala bangi tekirabika. Abantu abamu basirika ne babeera eyo bokka ne baba nga tebalina gwe bagambako kubanga bawulira kijja baswaza, oba omuntu gona omuga nti oba omutwe gwange bulabika siri bulungi, bakitwala bulala. Kati ekyo twagala okuggyawo, tugamba abantu nti tusobole okuyamba bannaffe. Bw'olaba munno ng'oba asiriikiridde nga tesibwatyo bwabeera bulijjo, bw'olaba nga omuntu ateganyizibwa oba nga yeeyisa mu ngeri eteri ya bulijjo, togamba bugambi nti omuntu oyo ansobedde, omuntu oyo oba abadde kyennaku zino. Gezaako okutegeera kiki n'okumuyamba naye yennyini asobole okugenda okufuna obuyambi, kubanga tukimanyiko nti abasawo we bali n'obuyambi gye buli, naye ate abantu abamu tebabweyunira. Weewaawo tukyetaaga obuyambi bungi, ogamba bubeere nga omuntu talina kugenda ku butalika hospital yokka, naye nga neyo yonna gye tubeera omuntu ayinza okuba nga waliyo ku community centers oba mu bifo ebyenjawulo oyinza okusangayo omuntu asobola okuyamba, kubanga bamu kibazibuwalira okukwata emmotoka n'agenda ku malwaliro ago amanene. So n'olwekyo kugamba twakiraba nti bino byonna twagala okubikola, naye nga ekisinga obukulu bino byonna binjogeddeko ensawo eno byeyagala okuba nti eyamba. Bingi ensonga nnyingi nnyo zetwetaaga, naye nga byonna bitandikira ku bwongo. Obwongo bwaffe bunaabeera nga butereevu, byonna ebirala tujja kusobola okubikola. Ate nga ffenna tukwatira wamu nga tuyambagana mu ngeri ezitali zimu. N'olwekyo nsanyusa okulaba nti n'omwaka guno ate Katonda abusobosezza okuba nti tugenda kuteekateeka ekijjulo kya Nnaabagereka Queen's Ball nga yeesigamye mu kuyamba ebyobulamu ku bwongo bwaffe ng'abantu. Tusaba mwenna mujjumbire etteekateeka eryo, era nga tusuubira okubalaba ku lunaku olwo nga May 2. Mwebale nnyo kujja. Nyongera okwebaza abo tukwasizaako mu nsonga eno nga I&M Bank, abakyala baffe 1921, n'abalala Classcom bonna nga mwayogeddeko kuba bavudirizi mwabogeddeko. Tweyanze nnyo, tweyanziza nnyo, tweyanzike. Mukama bongere emikisa.
Your Royal Highness Queen Sylvia Najinda, Buganda Kingdom leaders present, the leadership of the Nnaabagereka Fund, dear partners, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here once again as we continue our partnership with the Nnaabagereka Fund for the second edition of the Queen's Ball. I&M Bank is delighted to continue the collaboration with the Queen's Ball because it's a very vital initiative, one that is a shining light on mental health. The collaboration gives us as an organization an opportunity to support such an important cause. The Queen's Ball's focus on mental health is remarkable because it shines a light on an often overlooked issue and encourages open conversations about it. It's a great way to support those dealing with mental health challenges, to reduce stigma, and cultivate a sense of community and understanding. This year's theme, Healing Minds, is not only very relevant, but also very timely. It reminds all of us that we need to take care of our mental and emotional well-being, just like our bodies, and that it's perfectly okay to ask for help when you need it. Uganda is currently ranked among the top 6 African countries with high rates of depressive disorders, which stands at about 4.6%. The professional is here. I'll leave the stats to her in that regard. While anxiety disorders stand at about 3%. Overall, approximately 5.1% of females and 3.6% of males are affected by mental health conditions. Recent media reports indicate that mental health issues among young people have worsened over the past 3 years, particularly after the COVID-19 situation, with common disorders such as depression, anxiety, and addiction becoming more prevalent. Despite these alarming statistics, mental health is often overlooked and, worst of all, stigmatized. That's why the Queen's Ball is such a critical initiative. It does not only help raise awareness, but also seeks to generate resources, spark conversations, and offer support for those dealing with mental health challenges. To address the mental health crisis, we need to continue talking more openly about it and break the stigma. We must ensure that mental health services are easy to access and affordable for everyone. I believe that the Queen's Ball will help keep these important conversations going and also encourage even more action from many other stakeholders. By coming together, we can break the silence around mental health and ensure that everyone finds comfort in seeking help.
I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Mama Nnaabagereka and the Nnaabagereka Women's Fund for championing this cause, for the invitation to be part of this auspicious occasion. Many people don't talk about mental health, by the way. They don't. Because they fear, or they think when they do, they might end up in Costa Rica. I don't know. But Mama Nnaabagereka has shown a difference. We really thank you. Mental health is often referred to as the invisible pillar of our well-being. But I think it is time to change this narrative. Because the impact of mental health, of poor mental health in individuals is anything but invisible. So it is not an invisible pillar, actually. It is very visible. It is visible not only in individuals, it is visible also in our families. The impact it has on families is immense. And that also translates into impact in communities. So we need to talk about mental health. Worldwide, we continue to see a growing mental health challenge. As one of our partners has just said, this came to light particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic. But these things have been here. They didn't start 4 years ago. They've been here, just shoved under the carpet. But COVID-19 brought all these challenges to light. International studies showed that depression rates worldwide went up by 25%. Oh yes. In Uganda, there are rising cases of all these things. Depression, anxiety, addiction, trauma. I'm sure that we're about to get some people, after the Kawempe elections are done, I will not be surprised to get people in our clinics suffering trauma. Psychological trauma. I'm not talking about fractures, physical, but psychological trauma. so that Dr. Ankong is what we understand these things very well. She's very passionate about mental health of boys, right? We've met in other circles on that matter. So these are especially among young people. A study that we did here in Uganda, which I led last year, that was supported by the World Bank, in schools in 4 regions of Uganda, showed a very high prevalence of what we call emotional problems in children. 30%. That is huge. And about 20% of them had peer-related problems, and this can be a result of mental health problems in school-going children and adolescents. By the way, many people don't think children get mental health problems. They actually do. And we need to understand that and deal with it as a country. The World Health Organization has rated Uganda to be 17th in the world and 4th in Africa in suicidality rates. Suicide. We have very high rates of suicide in this country, and they have since increased. We are increasingly seeing young people taking or attempting to take their life. We've been seeing all these things in the media. That is because these rates are going up, especially among young people. 30% of our admissions at Butabika Hospital are due to young people with addiction problems, mostly alcohol, marijuana, mairunji, or cat. But there are other hard drugs as well, like heroin and pethidine. And new ones are coming up, by the way. Last week I was in Lira, and I was introduced to a substance whose name I have forgotten. It is in Karamojong, actually. It comes from Karamoja region. A plant that young people now in Karamoja region are using to get high. It is very, very potent. I brought a sample to take to the lab, actually, to see what is in that thing. So these problems are growing among our young people. But such problems are compounded by many factors around us, including economic struggles, population displacement, disasters, and epidemics and global pandemics, as you know. Despite this, mental health services remain underfunded, particularly in Africa, also in Uganda. In this country, we spend less than 1% of our GDP, people who understand this language, on mental health. It's about 0.9 something percent. So it's quite small. And studies done previously in this country show that the treatment gap is over 85%. And put simply, treatment gap, it means 85% of those who need care actually do not get it. That's what we mean by treatment gap. So the job we have is huge, to extend care to people. Stigma, negative attitudes and misconceptions also prevent people from seeking help. The chairperson talked about stigma here in her speech. Stigma is the way we view people with particular, usually pervasive characteristics, which causes us to discriminate or distance or disapprove of these people. And this is where culture comes in. Culture and cultural institutions play a role, of necessity, play a role in shaping these things. Culture influences attitudes. Culture influences practices around health in general, but also, or rather in particular, it influences attitudes and practice around mental health. It determines whether people seek help or not, and if they do, where they seek the help. It influences the way we express our emotions, or whether we do at all or not. We've all heard about phrases like, men should not cry because they must be tough. But these men, if they can't express themselves, they're going to have problems, mental health problems. But culture can also be protective of individuals. I'm saying this because I know I'm in a cultural institutional setting. Culture can be protective. For example, I see in Nnaabagereka, whole families get up and bring an individual to hospital for help. Families, get involved when someone breaks down. In the past, our young people were protected by family, even villages sometimes. If parents were not available or unable to take care of children, there would be already alternative family to take care of those children and protect them from adversity. At the moment, those are cultural things that are good, that we can actually promote. Right now, children are on the streets because cities, as we say. They are gravitating to the ghetto for all sorts of reasons, including that. And people are even asking for DNA to throw away children. These are things that are changing, where culture protected us against adversity that we need to promote again. So the mental health of young people is here for all of us to see because of those things. So cultural leaders and institutions are therefore very important and very useful in leading change, where culture norms may reinforce stigma and in promoting the protective aspects of our culture that prevent mental health problems and help people access care. Because we know that when mental health is prioritized, it allows individuals and families to heal and for society to maximize its potential. Chairperson talked about productivity. Nobody can be productive without a good mental health. I usually tell people, you can have no leg. We can cut off your hand, but you may still be productive. When your mental health is gone, you won't do anything for yourself. It is that important, our mental health. The theme of this year's Queen's Ball being launched today, Healing Minds, is a call to action that creates a lot of hope. So it's not all doom and gloom. This theme creates hope. Healing Minds is about recognizing that mental health is an important facet of our overall health and well-being. It is about ensuring that support is available to those who suffer from mental health challenges and to those who care for those suffering. Healing Minds is about creating safe spaces, building awareness, and assuring that no one feels alone in their struggle.